Welcome to our Trump Briefing Show. Today, we have some intriguing updates starting with the U.S. successfully negotiating a safe shipping agreement in the Black Sea after talks with Ukraine and Russia. This deal aims to ensure the safety of commercial vessels and may revive a previous agreement from 2022, although tensions remain high with ongoing cross-border attacks. In another story, we take a closer look at Canada's largest immigration holding center, where detainees like Osama Al-Hadad are experiencing a surprisingly dignified environment with access to amenities like gyms and libraries. This humane treatment contrasts sharply with the harsher practices observed in the U.S., raising important discussions about the treatment of individuals facing deportation. Lastly, small and medium businesses in Canada are opting for minor operational adjustments instead of layoffs to manage the impact of new U.S. tariffs on their goods. With a significant portion of their revenue coming from U.S. sales, these businesses are considering reduced hours and hiring freezes while also calling for policymakers to promote trade diversification. Please stay tuned for more detailed coverage. The Toronto Star reports on a significant breakthrough in the ongoing conflict between Ukraine and Russia, facilitated by the United States. After 3 days of discussions in Saudi Arabia, U.S. officials announced that both nations have agreed to ensure safe navigation in the Black Sea, a crucial step toward reviving a previous agreement that had lapsed. This new arrangement aims to eliminate the use of force and prevent military exploitation of commercial vessels in the region. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov expressed openness to reviving the earlier deal but emphasized the need to protect Russian interests. The talks also touched on the potential for a partial ceasefire in the 3-year-old war, though both sides continue to engage in drone and missile strikes, highlighting the fragility of the situation. The Toronto Star provides an inside look into Canada's largest immigration holding center, where detainees like Osama Al-Hadad, who fled Yemen, are held while their identities are verified. Contrary to the harsh conditions reported in U.S. facilities, Al-Hadad described his experience as dignified, with access to amenities such as a gym, library, and even yoga classes. While the center aims to treat detainees humanely, concerns remain about the appropriateness of detaining individuals solely due to identity issues or perceived flight risks. Immigration lawyer Robert Israel Blanchet advocates for reforms, arguing that individuals without serious criminal charges should not be kept in detention, emphasizing the need for timely legal access and support. The Toronto Star highlights the impact of U.S. tariffs on Canadian small and medium enterprises, revealing a preference among business leaders for operational adjustments rather than layoffs. A recent poll indicated that many companies are likely to reduce hours or implement hiring freezes in response to the 25% tariffs imposed by the U.S., which took effect earlier this month. Despite this, a significant portion of businesses anticipates cutting back on investments in research and development due to the financial strain. The report urges policymakers to focus on trade diversification and innovation incentives, while businesses are encouraged to enhance supply chain flexibility and operational efficiency to weather the economic storm. The Toronto Star reports that as Canada gears up for its federal election on April 28, the political landscape is heating up with various party promises taking center stage. The Conservatives, NDP, and Liberals are all vying for voter attention, with key issues like tax cuts and the impact of U.S. President Donald Trump's tariff threats emerging as pivotal talking points. The latest polls indicate that the Liberals have made significant gains, suggesting a competitive race ahead. As the election date approaches, the article promises to keep updating the public on any new pledges from the parties, reflecting the dynamic nature of Canadian politics. The Independent highlights a startling incident involving Fox News host Jesse Watters, who downplayed a significant national security breach when a military attack plan was accidentally shared in a group chat that included a journalist. Watters likened the situation to a common texting mistake, humorously comparing it to accidentally inviting a family member to a private group chat. The breach occurred when National Security Advisor Mike Waltz inadvertently added Jeffrey Goldberg, editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, to a Signal chat where sensitive military operations were discussed. Although the White House claimed no classified information was shared, concerns were raised about the use of unsecured communication for discussing military actions. The Independent further delves into the fallout from the Signal leak, with Mark Warner, the top Democrat on the Senate Intelligence Committee, calling for the resignations of senior officials involved in the incident. During a tense hearing, Warner criticized the lack of basic security protocols and expressed disbelief that such high-ranking officials could overlook the presence of a journalist in a chat discussing military operations. The committee's discussions underscore the gravity of mishandling classified information, especially as tensions with adversaries like China and Russia escalate. Amidst the political turmoil, President Trump defended the involved officials, asserting that the military actions proceeded successfully despite the breach, while the debate over accountability and operational security continues to intensify. The Independent reports on the Trump administration's ambitious plan to boost mineral production in the U.S., which poses a significant threat to the Grand Canyon, a national treasure and a vital ecosystem. Environmentalists and indigenous groups are deeply concerned that this initiative, justified by claims of excessive federal regulation, could lead to increased uranium mining in the area. The Grand Canyon, known for its breathtaking views and rich biodiversity, also contains uranium deposits essential for nuclear energy. Advocacy groups warn that prioritizing mineral extraction over environmental protection could have dire consequences for both the landscape and the communities that rely on it, particularly as past mining activities have resulted in severe health risks and contamination of water sources. CBC highlights a major security breach involving the Trump administration, where top officials inadvertently included a journalist in an encrypted chat on the Signal messaging app while discussing military plans against Yemen's Houthi rebels. This incident raises serious questions about the handling of classified information, as sharing such sensitive details on commercial apps is generally prohibited. Signal, known for its robust encryption and privacy features, has become a favored communication tool among government officials, but this breach has sparked calls for a congressional investigation into potential violations of national security laws. Experts emphasize that while Signal is regarded as secure, the use of such platforms for critical discussions may not be appropriate, given the risks involved. BBC covers a lawsuit filed by Yunseo Chung, a Columbia University student facing deportation due to her participation in pro-Palestinian protests. The lawsuit alleges that the Trump administration is targeting activists for their political speech, as evidenced by the recent detention of fellow activist Mahmoud Khalil. Chung, who has been a legal permanent resident since childhood, argues that her First Amendment rights are being violated, especially after immigration officials executed search warrants at her university. This case underscores a broader pattern of the administration's crackdown on student activism related to Palestinian rights, raising concerns about the implications for free speech and political dissent in academic settings. The lawsuit aims to halt the deportation efforts and challenge the administration's aggressive tactics against individuals involved in protests. BBC reports that the Spring Statement slogan, "The world has changed," highlights the significant implications for Wales, both socially and politically. With high levels of health-related benefits claims, the anticipated welfare cuts could heavily impact over 250,000 individuals on PIP in Wales. Politically, the decisions made by Labour at Westminster could influence their ability to maintain power in Cardiff Bay as they approach the 2026 Senedd election. Recently, Welsh ministers were pleased to receive an unexpected £1.5 billion boost in their budget due to Chancellor Rachel Reeves' spending decisions, which included controversial national insurance hikes. However, any future spending cuts or tax increases enacted by Labour at a UK level could jeopardise Labour's prospects in Wales, especially given the close polling results. Upcoming events, like the June spending review and the autumn budget, will further shape the landscape, with expectations that any significant announcements regarding investment or borrowing powers for Wales may be delayed until then. As economic challenges loom, including rising borrowing costs and potential tariffs, the Chancellor may face tough decisions about tax increases, which could complicate Labour's campaign as they prepare for the elections. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.